Hey gang, Spence here from Progressive Outcomes. Sorry, it's been a little while since I produced a video, a few months. Just kind of getting caught up, actually trying to build more rifle systems. Actually, as you can see, my shop is kind of cluttered and messy. I apologize about that. Kind of got into a lot of projects here, trying to restore an old gun for a friend, and finally, my reamer finally came in for my custom competition gun, and we just came back from a hunting trip. But today's video is going to be about, this is my friend's weapon system. This is his competition gun, but we took it hunting. He took it hunting, and he wanted me to try this thing called ThorroClean. It's from Bullet Central. It's supposed to do a real good job. Now, when it comes to cleaning weapons or cleaning your barrel and everything like that, cleanliness is next to godliness in a lot of ways. However, when it comes to the bore of your barrel, I don't like taking too much out of my barrel because I like to shoot with a foul barrel. However, the friend of mine wanted, I think he said he's got 400 or 500 rounds through the barrel. He's cleaned it probably halfway through, and then I guess this is about 200 rounds into it, that he wanted me to take it all the way down. And because I have the camera and the YouTube thing, I'm going to see how this works. So we're going to try this on it. It's supposed to make it real clean and everything. It's called Thorough Flush from Bullet Central. And I've downloaded their instructions, so I'm going to go step by step on what they want me to do on how their product works. And again, I want to make sure, as a caveat and a statement, I am not sponsored. This video is not sponsored by any one person. Everything here is totally for educational purposes. Yeah, and I'm going to go and start doing this video to kind of show you what I'm doing and what I'm doing for a friend. So I've never used this before, but we're going to find out. So what I did do prior to this video, I'm going to add, and you're going to see some segments in here, is I got my BORESCOPE, ran it to the bore, so you're going to be able to see the before and after pictures, and you're going to probably see up somewhere over here, or my wife's going to do the editing and do all that fancy stuff up there. So have no fear, you're going to see the before and after finishes of how this product works. So we took it to the ringer. I'm going to basically go clean his barrel out in his chamber, and then I'm going to show everyone kind of, the steps I take to do general cleaning, because we got rained on really hard up in the mountains, and so there's a little rust on here on the scope rings, and kind of show you how to attack that a little bit, and just kind of clean it up and get it ready to shoot fine again. It's shooting fine, just he wants it cleaned down to the bore, so we'll see how this thing cleans up. Little note, I love folding stocks because you can get it out of the way.
Sorry, say it again.
Love folding stocks as you can get out of the way and you can get down to business and work on here. It doesn't give you an obstruction here. So always put a bore guide in there when you clean, obviously, as much as you can. I always run a rag under here. I don't want the chemicals to get on anything else. I actually don't want the chemicals to touch the scope, and this is a zero compromise, so it's not a cheap scope, very expensive scope. So I try to do as much protection as I can, just in case something spills or splashes. All right, we're going into the bore cam. All right, that's the lead into the bore, and that's the carbon ring. Believe it or not, guys, it looks like it's a lot. It's not. It's just a light. It's because the camera amplifies everything too much. So we're in the bore, going down. It doesn't really look too bad. Now, granted, this is a brand new custom barrel. It's a carbon 6. And as you can see some copper. And in the beginning, you're going to always have a heavier buildup, obviously. That's where the cartridge detonates itself and throws the bullet out. You see some carbon buildup there. The yellowing or the goldish looking color is basically the copper. And again, it should get lighter and lighter and lighter as we move forward. Considering that this particular barrel had over 400 rounds gone through it already, it doesn't look too bad at all. But this is to give you guys an idea of what we're looking at, because we want to have some comparisons when I actually run that particular product. All right, getting more towards the crown. As you can see, it's very light now. Again, most as you have a brand new barrel, or you clean your barrel down to sparkliness or whatever you want to call that, and you start building up again, you're going to start seeing that from the back by the chamber. As you move forward, you're going to have a heavier buildup. You move forward towards the crown. One of the advantages of having a bore cam is I can push it all through. You can inspect the inside of your barrel. And also you can check certain areas like by the lead, the carbon ring. Okay, so I'm coming out right by that's the crown, that black dark void. We're entering by where the muzzle brake is attached. So that's the end of the barrel or the crown. I do like inspecting and looking at the crown. That's why I'm spinning it a little bit to check, because you don't want any damages. But okay, let's get started cleaning. Begin by using a well-designed bore guide. Got that? Check. Having a solvent port. Check. You can put the stuff in here on top of your patches and brushes when you send it through. Step 1. Start by pushing a wet, tight patch through your bore to remove loose carbon fouling. Now, it doesn't say, when I mean wet, what to put on, so just to clean it out before we put any ThorroClean on there. So what I'm going to use, what I usually do is I use BoreTech Eliminator. So it says put a wet patch, so I'm going to go get my Jag and my patches. This is a 7 PRC, so make sure you have the appropriate tools for the appropriate caliber, or you're going to find yourself in a mess. So I'm going to put the Jag on for a 284, 7mm for a 7 PRC. Get my patches over here. So to run a wet patch to get any debris, or any loose carbon out. All right. And I'm going to be using BoreTech Eliminator. Kind of get that wet. Okay. All right. Step 2. Soak and apply ThorroClean about a teaspoonful to a high quality bore brush. Stroke the barrel forward and through the crown and back approximately 10 to 15 times. Ensure your brush has enough ThorroClean for effective cleaning. All right. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is take off my Jag and put on the 7mm 284 brush. I use a nylon brush, by the way. Okay. Yep. What I should do, dealing with a new chemical, is I should be wearing gloves. I'll be right back. Right there. Sometimes these cleaning chemicals, you never know. All right, got a brand new nylon brush. I'm gonna go ahead and open up this packet. And this was provided by my friend who owns the weapon. He wanted me to try it. He bought it. So the bore cleaner goes first, and this is a flush bore cleaner flush, and it appears to me that it looks pretty pasty. So it probably has a lot of grit in there, kind of almost like a polishing compound in a way. And the flush is to take all that grit out, I'm assuming. Okay. So what I'm going to do is put the brush in this well. He said about a teaspoon worth. That's quite a bit. I can get it all over the brush at least. That's quite a bit. That's about a teaspoon there. I'm gonna have to clean up my bore guide. All right. So sending it down. Out. 10 to 15 times. I'll go 15 per its instructions. Crap, I lost count. Oh, my wife's keeping count. Thank God for my wife. 10. 14, and this is going to 15, babe? All right, 15. 16 for good measure. Woo! Man, look at my freaking cleaning rod is kind of dirty, but it has all that gunk on it too, though. All right. Damn. mainly the paste. Okay, that was step 2. Step 3, follow up by pushing a dry patch through the barrel, and then use patches generously soaked with the flush. Typically, you can clean all the ThorroClean out of the barrel with 2 to 3 patches. We'll see about that. Be diligent in checking for excess ThorroClean in your solvent port. Yep, that's true. All right, well, I'm going to take off this brush. It is saturated with the ThorroClean. And I'm going to give that to my friend. That's going to be his, when I give him back his product. Together there. Okay. Take off my gloves. Make sure I don't spread or cross-contaminate. All right, I'm going to put the Jag back on and just basically patch it out. This is what they're saying. It's supposed to be that easy. Where is my Jag? Right there. Okay, make sure you clean your rod, which I just did. So I'm putting the Jag back on to run patches through. Make sure I wipe that sucker down again. But I can see here in my solvent catch right here, there's a lot of paste in there. So what I'm going to do is run a dry patch through to get some of that stuff out. My bore guides. There we go. Let me see here what it looks like. It's kind of what we're looking at here. A lot of carbon, but kind of normal. We'll see. All right. Now I'm going to add a patch and soak it with the flush. Oop. That's what we're looking at with the flush. Doesn't seem to be taking a lot out, but we'll see. I'm thinking because it's not that much effort that the chemicals are strong to break down whatever's in there. We're going to find out. I'm going to run the camera through there again once I follow their instructions here. ThorroClean out of the barrel with 2 to 3 patches. Be diligent for checking access ThorroClean in the solvent port. Use a BORESCOPE and a thorough inspection. With this method, you can maintain your rifle's bore pristine condition and ensure consistent shooting accuracy. We'll see about that. So I'm just going to keep on dropping. That's 2. It says 3 patches. I'm doubtful about 3 patches, but I'll do 3 patches, just like the instruction says, and see, kind of take a look at it.
I don't know, that last one was pretty dirty, honey.
Yeah, I know. Just follow. I'm trying to follow the instructions verbatim for their instructions. It kind of looks a little dirty. I mean, honestly, you know, condition of your barrel, all these other things, how long the carbon's been sitting, you know, all that good stuff. We were in the rain, so that kind of helps, makes the carbon be a little naughty. Transported from another island, so at least a day or at least 48 hours since we had a chance to run anything through the bore. You know, since we kind of took it through some up mountain, up country, God's country kind of weather. This is actually a 4th or 5th patch now.
I believe that was the 5th.
5th? All right.
And it's pretty clean.
You think so? All right. Well, let's see what the barrel looks like. Be careful when you're taking this out, especially when you run a lot of liquids like that. You see that at the end? What you don't want is any of the liquid going into the trigger system. Especially we have drop-in triggers. We all use TriggerTech. Me and my partner uses TriggerTech. They're not cheap triggers. They're expensive triggers, and they can be sensitive to all kinds of junk and liquid going down into that trigger. And unlike Bix and Andy, you can't disassemble this and clean it on your own. It's pretty much don't get shit in it. Did I say that? Stuff in it. Sorry.
I think
I'm
YouTube
actually
only
gonna-
disallows the swearing for the first
Oh, yeah?
2 to 3
Okay.
minutes.
Well, I'm
You're
good.
good. You're
I'm
good.
Very nice.
Golden.
All right, I'm gonna get my camera out and see what the hell is going on in there. Okay. But my wife's gonna show me how to do recording on this camera. Wait, take a picture. But I want to see what the bore looks like. Okay, I'm just entering the bore now.
How's she looking?
Actually,
Good job.
considering what we saw earlier, wow, okay. There's still a slight carbon, and then well, the more experience you get in shooting weapon systems, you're going to find out the first 6 to 8 inches from the rifling of your barrel, when you hit the lands or your rifling of the barrel forward, is you're going to get the most amount of carbon, the most amount of copper, because that's where all the explosions and everything takes place and all the pressure goes. As the bullet travels through the barrel further out, it's less and less. The buildup is less and less as you go out. So what I'm looking here is, did we just, hold on, let me back up. Came through the throat. Not bad. I mean, there's still a carbon ring I'm going to work up, but I'm going to do another process with that here in a little bit. But mainly the bore. That's what we focused on with this particular pass. So I did 16 brush passes, flushed it with about 5 patches, and it is not completely down to perfect brand new barrel chrome status, but
What would you
it's,
reach at
I would
10?
say it took out, over 80% of all the junk that was in there, and that was very little effort. I mean, you still got some carbon in there, a little bit, and you guys are going to see this video here. It's going to be part of the overall video, but we're going to show before and after, so you're going to see a pretty substantial difference. Again, if like I predicted, with that little of amount of effort, there's no way I could have got all that stuff out, in my opinion. And it just goes to prove there's still carbon in there, but what I do notice is the copper fouling is really almost nothing. Little copper fouling, and but it really did an overall, I'd say 75 to 80% clean with just 16 strokes and 5 patches. Now, I think if I went ahead and just gave it, 30, 40, 50 more strokes with the brush, it'll probably take it down and make it really, really all chrome, which I'm not going to do, because I don't believe I'm taking a barrel down that tight. So I rate this product, I don't know, for its ease of use, an A-, and I think that the chemical has a lot to do with it. Well, it definitely made the front part of the barrel really shiny. Again, there's still, as you're going to see in the video, there's still some carbon streaks in there, but yeah, 75 to 80% on that little effort. And so to be fair, I give the whole product right now about an A- for its ease of use. Pretty simple, easy to follow instructions, and from what I'm seeing, a decent clean, not bad. Here's another thing. When was the last time you cleaned your bore guide? The reason why I say that, because I've done the same thing, and we tend to forget, but clean it out. You can get brake clean, a carburetor cleaner, that works great. I use brake clean because it takes all that carbon off of the rotors of your truck. If you're a real man, you have a truck. But anyway, sorry, honey.
I cannot.
Anyhow, that works great. Or you can just get soap and water. Dawn, I'm telling you, Dawn is the shit. You can clean it out. Again, I put too much patches in there. Stand by. I'm an idiot.
All right, this is important to watch too. What happens if it jams in the bore guide?
Well, I got a bore guide that is kind of, I can take it apart and have different size. Anyway, this is from Real Avid.
The bore guide.
Yep, pretty good. Not bad. I like the springy thing. So it has a little springy thing in here.
Springy thing.
So,
ah.
see that? So what it does do, this little, so my partner, our friend, he's a left-handed shooter. So it's on this side of the bolt, the opening of the chamber, the ejection area. So what I do is I push it in a little bit. You see it, this little pin that comes with it. I like it. It's been real good. Slip it in there, and it kind of springs back on, and it locks itself in, so that way it doesn't leak.
Oh.
If you don't want things to come back out on you. Pretty good stuff. To each his own. Everybody likes their favorite things. There we go. I'm just going to run a couple of patches through. And I'm going to call it a day with that. And then I'm going to show you guys how to take care of the chamber and then the bolt itself. That's kind of important. Okay. I'm going to call that good. Now, again, I'll probably see it all in the comments. Look, I like shooting my rifles fouled. I like the foul barrel to shoot. I clean my barrel usually when I start seeing deviations of my consistency on accuracy, or I do it by a round count. So as for me, where the hell did I put it? I have a logbook. Oh, there it is. So like this is my friend 7 PRC. Okay, this can you see this in video, babe?
Yep.
Okay, so this is one of my 300 PRCs, and as for me, I'm old school. This is how I was brought up. Not that it's the right thing to do, but I mean I think it is. That I can tell you on every one of my guns, I have down to the exact round from the first round that I ever shot out of the gun. So like I have out of that barrel, I just started shooting it last year, or the ending of last year, 426 rounds, which is not that much. I was shooting because I was using my 7 PRC, my custom one, but I had an issue with the barrel I had to send back to the company. I'll have a video on that because the company did the right thing, and I want to give an attaboy, but I want to do a whole video on that later. But I keep a round count on every single round that goes through any of my guns. Barrel life, yada, 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 and all that other stuff. So I don't usually clean until 200, 300, 400 rounds later. Unless water went through it or something like that, where water and carbon will suck water and start having corrosion. So that would be a cause for me to clean. Because what's going to happen is when you clean your barrel, whatever you dialed in at your zero and all your accuracy and everything else, that goes out the window. But what's going to happen is it's going to change. You're going to have a point of aim, point of impact shift. You just have to foul the barrel back up to where it was again. And so, a lot of people in the old days and in the military, made you clean that barrel spick and span, which that's actually not a good idea.
That was just going to be a question I have for the average person that maybe hasn't shot a weapon at all or very new to the circumstance. Can you clean your weapon too much?
Yes you can.
What happens if you do?
Well, okay, there's a couple of things that take place, and I'm not just talking out of my butt on this. I actually went to school for this and all this other stuff, and I have an extensive career, in my former career anyway, with this kind of stuff. So depending on the chemicals, so a lot of the chemicals that we use, especially in the past, were very harsh solvents. It does eat away at steel. The type of brushes we used to use. There was this thing, and I hate going back to the military, where a lot of the younger folk, I should say, the privates, whatever, and then some people used to get shaving cream.
Oh yeah.
Going in the shower, and used to shoot shaving cream inside of it. Take their whole M4 or A2 into the shower, and as they're showering, they put shaving cream down the barrel to clean it. And yes, it cleaned the carbon all out, because the armorers or the supply guys that when you send in your weapons again to turn it in, it was an old school mentality where it had to be spick and span, super shiny and clean, yada 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 yada. Which back then they didn't understand that it shifted your zero, it shifted your point of aim, point of impact. And try to talk to an old school supply sergeant in the military on anything otherwise, right? So how a lot of the younger soldiers and whatever did, which was stupid because it destroys it. But the good thing is, in military weapons are not straight stainless steel barrels like we do. It's chrome lined, so it lasts a little longer. It's a lot tougher, not as accurate as stainless steel, but a lot tougher.
So what you're saying is no on the shaving cream.
I would not recommend it.
They taught us some basic. It was not
Yeah, well,
that long ago, but yeah, I would imagine.
I mean,
it's super corrosive.
I've seen people do all kinds of crazy shit on that. And you know, the thing is, it's probably not. It's not their weapon either. So
good point.
You know, it's issued to you, and so some don't care. Anyway.
So if you care, don't use shaving cream.
You know, I can't prove if it's good. I mean, I think taking it in the water and dousing the whole weapon system in water, and I don't know about that. That to me, I think it doesn't do a lot of good there. I mean, it takes away the carbon just enough so somebody can. Anyway,
yeah,
that's a whole. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
That's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Nonetheless, going back to cleaning, the point of aim, point of impact shifting that takes place, it does happen. You're gonna notice after you have a super clean barrel, you think your bullets will go faster. Actually, more times than not, if you use a chronograph, which you should, you're gonna notice your speeds kind of slow down a little bit, and then it's gonna build back up again on speeds, which will have an effect, you know, on your impact. Nonetheless, enough with that. That's probably a whole another video to talk about. Going back to the whole reason why I'm doing this video, to talk about this ThorroClean that my friend wanted me to try. So I give it an overall A- on the entire product.
Nice. And that's where everybody will put this down below, so you'll see what the products
and again,
are.
I'm not sponsored by any of these people. Nothing. Fortunately, I did not have to pay for it this time. My friend bought it, and he wanted me to. He handed all this, dropped it off to me because I was curious on trying it to put it on video. Okay, it seems to be pretty good. I'd be careful because it did such a good job with very little effort that I'm sure that the chemical itself and the abrasiveness of this thing is pretty strong. So I would recommend when you flush it and make sure you patch everything out of the barrel to get everything out of the barrel, because I'm sure it has some abrasive in here.
So clean the cleaner.
So, you know, yeah. So, you know, make sure it's clean. Make sure you take it all out. Don't be lazy about it. Patch it out. And it seems to do a pretty good job considering the amount of time and effort you put into it. So I give it an overall A- on the product. I don't know how much it costs. I'm sure my wife's going to find out and put it up there on an average.
We'll find out.
And my friend wanted me to try it. So not bad. I give it an A- overall for the effort and the ability for it to clean. I think it's the chemicals that's doing a lot of the work. So when I say that, think about what I just said. Wear gloves, you know, and all that good stuff. You take all the safety precautions when you're doing things, eye protection, hand protection, so on and so forth. Make sure that your place is thoroughly vented, so on and so forth. Be safe. Always be safe about what you're doing. Let's see here. I just want to make sure. Yep. Verbatim. Okay, that's what the instructions say on this thing. Now, but what I will do is run a couple more patches through just to make sure it's all dry and clean in there. And then, well, what I'm going to do is I'm still going to go and clean his chamber and his throat area out. I don't know if I should show this, but people are going to freak out when I do this one. But I will. I know I'm supposed to put the guide in. I'm just going to run a patch through. Be very careful.
Let's still get some on there.
Yep. Main thing is the crown too. You don't want to nick that crown in the front of the barrel at all. Okay. Now, this is where people are going to freak out.
Not in that last part? There's a whole nother part to freak out about?
Yep. Because people think, well, people have all these different misconceptions about things. Uh-oh.
Oh, Lord. It's Christmas and you're giving presents.
Am I going to actually do this on camera?
Oh, my dang.
My laziness. And it's a nylon brush. Chamber cleaning brush. And probably people right now watching the video, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're an idiot. Blah, 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 blah. Look, folks, I've been doing this for decades and on precision rifles. And when I was first taught, to the point where even the break-in part, shoot one, brush it through, shoot one. That's I'm sorry. I don't buy into that. That's horse crap. Believe what you want to believe. To each his own. You ask 1 million shooters, you're gonna get 1 million different ways of doing this. So this is my way. This is a way. Never had any issues. So because I this was not going to fit inside of the. You know what? I'm going to put on this ThorroClean crap. Oh, sorry. ThorroClean. Just a little. Since it took off all that, just a little bit. Making sure it doesn't go in there. Oh yeah, baby. Get that carpet ring out of there. Ooh, people are freaking out right now. What are you doing? Let me tell you. This is makes it real clean, takes that carbon ring out, and I'm not busting master and wasting my time. I'll say that right now.
Hey, I
It's
say
not
if you
going to
can.
hurt the freaking barrel.
I say if you can mechanize something,
Yeah,
go ahead.
right now there's a lot of people just going, "What the hell are you?" They're just freaking out. They're probably going to put comments, "You're an idiot," blah blah blah. Whatever. do you, man? I do me. So
I've never
hell,
seen you take a.
because I'm lazy.
I've never seen you do that.
I'm just gonna put a freaking. Hopefully it stays on there. Well, you're not here when I'm cleaning, baby. Wipe it out clean. See, look at that. Look at that. My God, it takes all that carbon out of the throat, and
That's a lot.
hell yeah, that's a lot. Yep. I'm saying I'll make it more views this way because look at that idiot. I'm
Ladies
not
and
the only one
gentlemen,
who does this, people.
ladies and gentlemen, my husband.
Yep. Comment all you want, peeps.
Do you need to record that?
No, I'm just. Yes. You turn it on. Look at that. Look how shiny that is.
Ooh la la.
Look at that.
Oh.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
She
Yeah, a couple of
purty.
things. Oh, look at no. But look how clean that throat is in that chamber. Oh my God, it looks brand new again.
That's shiny.
And there is no, detrimental scratches or gouges in there. Just like I thought. Well, you guys are just. She looks pretty in there.
It is very pretty.
Yes, ma'am.
It's shiny. Shine
Yes,
bright
ma'am.
like a diamond.
Yep. Put some of this ThorroClean on there again and just send it in again. Oh yeah, just put a little.
When you say a little, how much is a little?
I'm talking like a couple drops.
Got it.
Just like that.
From this angle, we can't really see. That's what I was asking.
Okay, just a couple of drops. Common sense. Yeah. There is some that are freaking out right now. Guaranteed.
That's okay.
Now I'm just going to put the patches over the brush. Being a little lazy again.
Yeah, I got a little bit on there.
Yep, that's from that carbon ring.
Yippers.
In Hawaii, that's where we're filming this at. We're one of the 2 stupid states that are not allowed to get suppressors because the state government is stupid. So that being said, we don't have all that huge carbon buildup from suppressors because we're not allowed to buy them here. I'm not a big suppressor fan, but I'm a big Second Amendment guy where I think that what they're doing here is kind of not a good thing and they're wrong. But I'm sure that it's going to change in time here. We're getting there. And what I will do, I'll put some of that flush, the ThorroClean flush, because I am dealing with a paste. Just a little bit.
So that's the second cleaning chemical.
The flush. To take out the...
So another couple drops?
Yeah, just a couple of drops, just to get it wet a little bit. Maybe a little bit more than a couple of drops. But I don't want it saturated to it's dripping. And I'm just going to use my hand. Okay. Just so I can wipe out all that junk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Woo.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
You could eat dinner off that.
Yep.
Was she pretty?
Sent a couple patches through. There's some debris, but most of the part. There you go. I don't want to put that in because this covers the throat, so I want to get some patches through in here.
And for the people that don't know what you're holding right now, can you please describe this tool?
This right here?
Yes.
It's a cleaning rod.
Okay, is it...
Well, so yeah, no, it's good to talk about a cleaning rod. In today's world, the idea is you want a cleaning rod that has a good ball bearing that spins real well. You want one that's stiff that doesn't bend so much. If it bends, sometimes your whatever device you have in front like this, you don't want to gouge the inside of the bore of your barrel or nick anything. You don't want to damage anything. You're trying to clean it so you can get the best life and performance out of it. So the stiffer the better. Carbon fiber ones out there, they're not cheap. You get what you pay for. Don't go cheap on cleaning rods. I know this one has some flex in it. Mine is a little shorter. Definitely want to use a bore guide, but just for now, I'm trying to wipe up from the lead throat into the lands. There we go. I'm gonna run one out.
Oh yeah.
Yep, and that's coming from the throat area because the chemicals and everything is going down the bore. So I'm gonna run one more, probably see if I can get 2 of them in there. I might get stuck, but I want it tight. Nope, I'm not gonna push that through. I might get stuck. What I am doing is wiping it down a little bit through the throat, and then I'm gonna put the bore guide back in and then run patches through the bore. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, good. What I am gonna do though is I'm gonna wash this out. I'll be right back. I'm gonna wash this out because of all that stuff that was in there. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a bonus thing that I do. I call it conditioning my barrels.
Ooh.
I picked this up on YouTube from that Speedy Gonzalez bench press shooter guy through an Eric Cortina video, which thumbs up to those guys. Those guys are badass. But so I read into it before I get into anything. I kind of do a lot of research on it, and I wait a little bit to see what's going on with it, especially something new. So I'm using this thing called Lockies. Basically, it's graphene and an alcohol carrier. And I guess locksmith guys, they use this stuff and it helps coat metal. And just go on the internet and read up on graphene. But I do know that it's good for steel. And so what I do is I call it conditioning after I clean. And so I put some on a bore mop, and I kind of run it through the barrel, the beginning part, then I run it, go down a little bit more, kind of coat the inside of the bore. Coat inside the bore until I get to the out part, come back out. Okay. And that's all I do for the bore. And I'm also going to do, so I have a bigger mop, which I do the throat and the chamber area with it as well, and I coat that. So I need to put on gloves. Pardon me. Try to keep in good practice here. Ha! You're lucky it's my last pair. Honey, we need to order another box of gloves on Amazon.
Roger that.
Okay.
I think they're like $8-9 for 100.
I'm not sure. I'll let you take care of it.
Yeah, that's about right.
As you all know, happy wife, happy life. So I just kind of turn all the money over to the wife. She handles it, and that's pretty much what it is.
And we get her done.
And get her done.
We get, oh,
that's
dear
right.
God.
So what I'm going to put now is, I call it a chamber mop. Well, actually, that's what it's called by BoreTech. And I'm going to put Lockies on that and kind of coat the area there. And I'm just going to run a dry patch through it, and that's it. And what I did is I call it conditioning my barrel. Now, what I have noticed by trying this, I've been using it for a couple of years now, and I have noticed less fire cracking. I have noticed easier to clean your barrels. Wow. That's just my experience. To do the chamber brush, though, you're going to have to take out the bore guide because it's too fat. It's not going to fit through there.
So here's a question for your listeners or your watchers.
When I soaked, yes, go ahead.
Sorry. How often do you condition?
Well, I do it. I definitely do it when I have a brand new barrel. Like I have a brand new barrel. I have 2 brand new barrels there that I've got to take down to our local gunsmith.
Shout out to Wayne.
Shout out to Wayne. Hawaii Custom Rifles. Hold on. I'm just coating it. I'm having one of my barrels custom chambered, and we're going to have another system. We're going to have bedded, pillar bedded and bedded. So the barrels have to go along with it to do that. Anyway, I'm just coating the throat and the chamber and the leads. Okay. It's called Lockies again. Amazon.
Yes.
Fairly inexpensive.
Yes. I don't recall.
And what I have found out with using this, what I call conditioning my barrel, I've seen some, it's not going to necessarily make you shoot better. Nothing's going to make you shoot better unless you get down to the range and start practicing. But I've seen Easier to clean your barrel and your chamber. A little less fire cracking, if that makes any sense. And so I've seen some positive benefits to it. Anyway, so it doesn't hurt. It just seems that it helps a little bit, so why not? It's not that expensive, and at least peace of mind in my head. This, you want to put back the bore guide. I'm not going to load the spring thing under because I'm just going to run one patch through. Yes, I'm human. There we go.
You can't go telling the world that.
Yes, I know.
Oh, she was dirty.
But that's the graphene.
Oh.
Because it's black. So when you run a bore cam in there, it's going to look all black and fuzzy. That's not carbon. That's the graphene in there. When the alcohol, so it's an alcohol carrier. So when it fires off, it lines all the metal and stainless steel inside, and it fills in the cracks, and it's supposed to give it a protective, smooth coating over your bore and everything else, which is supposed to add some protection to it, so on and so forth. So that's my last step for the cleaning part. There, the bolt. So this is a terminus action, quick change, love it. I've convinced a lot of people to go terminus. So if they all do shitty, that's probably my fault because I'm the one that's kind of influenced everybody to do this stuff. But I'm a believer in it. So one of the great things about terminus is on the bolt. And I notice a lot of people who own bolt action rifles, hunters included, and people, for some reason, they're afraid of this or they don't understand this too well. But you got to clean your spring in here. Okay? Well, the good thing about the terminus is that you don't need a special tool. Woohoo! Wow.
Ooh la la.
Amazing, huh? To take that out. And what you want to do is make sure that it's clean. And a lot of people put a lot of lubricant on this. You know, they don't even know how to take this apart. Okay? So there's a lot of YouTube videos that show you how to do this, guys. It's real easy. And if you get in trouble, there's a little special tool that'll pull this little spring up, and that's what everyone gets wrapped around the axle with because it springs down and it's hard to get back up. Real simple stuff, guys. You know, you want to clean this spring out because what can happen is it gets all gunky in here and your spring tension is getting weaker and it doesn't strike the primer as well. You know, and you always want to check, you know, to see if you're having what they call fire pin protrusion, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, no. That you need a certain amount of protrusion with the firing pin coming out of your bolt to have proper ignition on your primers. Okay, so that's kind of a big thing. And believe it or not, if you don't have positive strikes, it can affect your accuracy and all kinds of shit can go wrong. So you do need to clean your bolt and take your firing pin out. But I know a lot of people are not aware, and that's fine because, you know, Remingtons have a different, you know, the Remington 700 platform is a little different from Rugers and Weatherbys and how these things come off. I get it. Call the company. You know, you can YouTube, you know, how to remove your Remington 700 clone firing pin from your bolt. It's pretty simple, but learn how to do it. It's part of being a owner of a weapon and doing proper maintenance. Anyway, because my partner knows all this stuff, I basically would expect this thing not going to be all jacked up. What you also don't want to do is over lube this area here, because this area is almost like part of the sear mechanism on your trigger. So if you put too much grease or too much lube on this thing, you have a chance that it could trip over the trigger. So if you're going to put lubricants on this area, do it, but make sure it's dry, wipe it off clean. And you don't want to have a lot of slippery buildup there. Did you guys know that? Maybe not.
The Things You Know by Spencer Kealoha.
All right. You know, I clean the boat face, do your normal things. And, you know, of course, all fishermen, hunters, gun enthusiasts, we keep the freaking Q-tip company alive. Right?
Yeah, those are like industrial Q-tips.
Well, we keep them alive because we buy these things by the freaking thousands.
I do believe you can buy those on Amazon as well.
Either way, we're keeping them alive. See, there's some stuff here. I gotta get it out. See that?
Ooh. Oh. Yeah. Whoa.
So you don't want too much buildup with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it definitely had some stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. Because it's eventually going to build up. So you want to just make sure you clean it out. Get all that gunk out. So you have proper firing sequences, good ignition. And, you know, when that trophy buck comes up or you're competing and whatever, you don't want that oops to take place when you really need it to work, right?
Amen.
So what I do is I use this product, which I freaking fell in love with. This thing is fantastic. Friction Guard XP or Friction XP Guard Extreme Protection. It's called gun oil, but it's something different. It doesn't feel like it's actual oil. It's some kind of something different, I think. So what I do is I put it over the bolt itself a little bit. Just kind of use my fingers and kind of wipe it down and get it all on there. I don't like coming too far up this side because I don't want to put too much lube on the areas that I just mentioned. And what I do is I get a microfiber cloth and I kind of wipe it dry because it's going to leave this pretty silky coat of lubricant on there that will still spread inside of the tracks, inside of your receiver. And what I do is get a little bit on my hand and kind of just lightly coat the spring area here. And then I get my microfiber cloth and kind of wipe it back off. Right? Because we don't want to have a thick buildup on that. Gotta love these Terminus actions, boy. Left-handed dude.
FYI, we are not sponsored by Terminus.
Not yet. One would hope. One would only hope.
Terminus, okay. If you're watching.
Joel, that guy's a good guy, man. He makes good actions. Anyway. Yep. Okay, so my friend also was bitching about, and a lot of top tier actions are like this. The knob tends to come off. Look, I'm not a big fan of using, what do they call that damn thing? Hold on. Thread locker or Loctite on everything. You know, sometimes the answer, you know, with guys, right? 550 cord, 100 mile tape. It's not always the answer, but in this case, blue Loctite works really good on that. And a little rusty there. Take that off. Because when you're racking your boat, a lot of boat actions tend to do this. It's okay to put a little blue Loctite on it, tighten it up, and you're good to go. Where are you? Oh, oops. I think I waste more Loctite than I actually use. Okay, take a little bit off, just a little bit to make it wet. Screw it back in, and it shouldn't slip anymore. Going into all my actions, and it's done very well. There you go. Any access, take it off. You don't want that stuff getting clogged up in anywhere else, right? Okay. That being said, and if I want to do a clean like this, your lugs. I use BoreTech Extreme Grease HD, and it all takes a tiny little bit. So, great. So I just put like a little dab there. This is a 3-lug receiver. I mean, excuse me, bolt system. Okay. Just kind of rub it on this side of the lugs. Wipe off any excess. Actually, you don't want it all kicked up in there. Smooth.
Ooh, smooth.
So what I'm doing here is I'm spreading on the lugs, on the locking lug mechanism side. I'm running the grease on the locking end of those lugs. You know? One thing about Terminus is really good. I like the Terminus action. Is only a 60-degree boat lift. I'm not a left-handy, but a lot real smooth, like silk. All right. So Sean, I just did a whole service for you here, and I'm going to clean your scope. But that's another video. I'm not going to go into that today on this video. So, if you have any questions, comments, don't really care if you have concerns, leave them. I may or may not address it. We'll see. But that's what I do. And first time I tried the product, ThorroClean, in my personal opinion, and you know, one of 1 million different opinions, this did a pretty good job for the time that you spent, the labor that you spent. So I don't know how much this cost. Oh, the brush, it doesn't include the brush. That earlier I said I put the brush in there because it got all nasty. I'm not sure if I was going to put that down my barrel, but we'll see it. So I'm going to give it to my friend. Anyway, doesn't come with a brush. Seems to come with these 2 items here. Real simple. Other than that, I hope you like what you saw today in the video. Again, I'm going to be putting out more videos. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And keep on pushing the videos forward. Only to grow the community.
Spotter ready.
Shooter ready.
Send it.
See you guys on the next one.